All right, guys, we are live. It's episode 312 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Jennifer Seymour joining me. What's going on, Jen?
Hey, everybody.
Greg Cannon's in the house.
Hey, everyone.
Guest star of the hour, president of Boresight Solutions, LLC, Ben Simonson. What's going on, Ben?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on. I think we tried to do this back in the day. You didn't have time for it. You have time now. I have your product here that you've done for me recently. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about having you on.
Thanks.
All righty. Some beginning announcements. I know it's been a while since I've even been on the show. Some people watching this for new might not even know who I am. So I'm like a part-time host of the show, Anthony, Shooter's Mindset, part-time host here. Jen's usually good at it when I'm not available. So, so there we go. For those of you guys watching, obviously show sponsors here, GSL Technology suppressors, just gsltechnologies.com. All your suppressor needs down to the 22s, all the way up to your big PRS bolt guns and hunting guns, 300 Win Mag, everything in between. Available on podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, at the Shooter's Mindset, shootersmindset.com. If you want to follow the shows over there. Questions, if you have them throughout the show, get them in. We'll get them over to Ben. If you have a question from us, we'll try to get it too. Live questions really help the show keep the flow going. All right, let's jump into it. Ben, for those unfamiliar with you, tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you became involved in the industry.
Yeah. So Ben Simonson, Foresight Solutions. We're a custom gun shop in South Florida. We specialize in customizing polymer frame handguns, primarily Glock, but basically if it's a pistol with a polymer frame, we have some sort of package or options for it. I got started doing this just because I had a Glock and I didn't like how it fit my hand. The ergonomics were all wrong. It was slippery. And I was looking around for someone to change that. And this was back in like 2002. And there was only a handful of companies anywhere doing this, like 5 or 8. I don't remember exactly, but just not very many companies. And when I researched them and looked up what they were doing, I didn't really care for it. So I just figured I'd do it myself, and I'd always been around guns, always was a shooter. My dad was a gunsmith, kind of grew up working in his shop. So, I knew what I wanted to accomplish on the gun, because I was a shooter. So I was able to identify all the things I didn't like about it. And because I had a, gun working mechanical background anyways, I kind of knew how to fix it. So I went in with a plan and modified the first one for myself. And it was a hit. A lot of people that saw it, because I was doing a lot of shooting and training. I was fresh out of the military. I was staying with, my shooting and training to stay sharp, and shooting with a lot of cops and other guys that were serious shooters. And they saw it, they liked it, they wanted me to do it. So I was basically kind of in business from the very first one I did.
There you go. And how I tried it. All right. And then we're going to get deep into this conversation. So like anybody can go to Harbor Freight, buy a Dremel and go to town on some plastic, but I tried it. It was a horrible idea. How many frames or how long did it take you to really be satisfied with the piece? Was it just the first one and it was awesome?
Well, no, the first one came out good, but like I said, it was just for me. So I didn't think I was going to do another one.
Right.
And I went in, like I said, with a plan. I knew what the end result was of what I was trying to accomplish. And it took me a long, long time to modify that first gun. I guess, now I'm still not like perfectly happy with what we do. We're always trying to find ways to make it better, but it just, it just came with repetition and practice, just doing it over and over and over every day for years and years and years. Eventually you can kind of just do it in your sleep.
There you go. Boresight Solutions, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, 2004 is when you started this?
About 2002. That's when I first started doing this, working on guns. I kind of had to do it. I was doing it under the table for a while, just because I didn't have a business. I had a regular job. I was going to college, and I was just doing this on the side. And then once I realized that in order to work on a gun that doesn't belong to you and get paid for it, you need an FFL. And, so after doing it, kind of on the side under the table for a while. And then once realizing that I had to be legit about this, I went around to local gun shops, with like little cardboard box with a couple of modified frames in it, my hat in my hand, going to gun shops and saying, hey, this is what I do. Can I work part-time at your shop and do this? And, and you guys will get a cut of every project I do. And most of them just patted me on the head and said, like, that's a cute hobby you have there, kid. Now go away. But there was a guy down in Pinecrest had a shop called Security Arms International, and he saw it, and he was a shooter himself, former Marine, and he loved it. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So I worked out of there for, and at that point I was legit, and I was able to talk about it, and set up a website, and, let, people promote it on the forums. And at that point, that's when it really blew up, because now I could kind of go public with it. And then I was with them for a few years, and then it reached the point where it was taking up all my time, and I knew I was onto something. So I quit my job and opened my shop. That was my first shop that I had in Little Haiti for a long time, and then it's just kind of been an uphill climb since then.
Boom. Yeah. So I mean, obviously you said you knew there was like 5-ish companies, but you were really one of the pioneers of this Glock kind of stipple surgery to the frame.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now everybody, it increases the value. At least this is what I heard of you having a Boresight gun, whether it's a Glock or something that you did. I heard the value actually increases on a resale, or if you wanted to do that, if you say, hey, Boresight did this, you get more money. I mean, that's got to be an accomplishment in itself, because usually if you modify a gun, you usually take a hit here or there on a resale market.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that applies to like any of the like good shops that are out there nowadays. If you get a gun done by a good, well-known, respected, established shop, it's not going to depreciate as much. It's going to hold its value versus, like a home job, like a home stipple job, or, done by, a company that no one's ever heard about, then, you'll take a hit. But if you go with a good, established, well-known company, then I wouldn't call it an investment, but you're not gonna lose your ass as much as if you didn't.
Boom. Greg, what do you got? Jen, I know you guys came back from the Gap Grind PRS match. I know one of your favorite matches of the year, right? How'd it go?
Yep. So the Gap Grind's probably my favorite match I've ever shot. This is my first year as a pro. First year I was Jen's amateur, and then the last 2 years I've been a pro. It was an absolutely awesome match. We had probably the most amazing squad ever. We had a couple of like super pros that were kind of there to help the whole squad out. We had Ryan Hay in there, James Gilland, that were there to help everyone. And then we had some really awesome AMs that were able to, like my AM Ryan, he started off, kind of picking up. We didn't practice as much as we should have before, but by the end of the match, he was really killing it. Definitely looked like he knew what he was doing.
My favorite was watching Jeff Fox and his son.
Yes.
His 14-year-old son was shooting his first match, and he was helping him through it. And that kid can shoot. That was really fun. I enjoyed helping my amateur out, David. He did amazing. He's a pistol shooter, but switched over to the long gun for this match and had a great time, and he shot great. But I really enjoyed watching Jeff and his son, getting kids into this sport. I love doing that and seeing that. So it was great watching them.
Yep. I learned something about myself this weekend. If I focus too much on doing good, I don't do as good as if I just get up to the stage and do what's natural. Because we used a different RO option this match. Normally in the precision rifle series, we have, dedicated spotters, dedicated ROs, dedicated scorekeepers, where basically as a shooter, your job is to show up to the stage, shoot your stage, and make sure the brass gets up off the stage, and that's it. But this time we had a big group from here around Augusta. There were 6 of us that traveled up from this general area, and then a lot of other people on our squad that we knew. So we're all helping out each other's amateurs. We're all spending a lot of time on some glass. You know, there were some pros in the squad that needed a little hand from time to time. So there wasn't a lot of that like sit down and think time. And I was actually able to shoot my best match, at least this year, as far as percentage of the winner, which is kind of how the PRS is rated. You know, you can literally have 20 people that get the same amount of points in the match. So it's kind of difficult to, you know, you could be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm in 50th place, but you could have shot exactly as good as the person in 30th place. And
well, not exactly, because they beat you at the PRS skills stage time. So
yes, that.
You still suck more than they did.
I like this whole gap grind kind of concept with a pro amateur. I think, and I'm sure maybe there's some pistol matches. I just haven't seen them where USPSA or these type of games actually do that. Like pair somebody like Max Michel shoots with a dude that's maybe shot a few matches in his time and he's completely amateur. Like doing stuff like that, I think not only brings more people into the game, but gives some people some confidence. Like if I can shoot next to Max Michel and like with his coaching and his pointers and tips throughout a stage, dude, that's fucking invaluable, you know, for your growth as a shooter.
I mean, even like Jesse Harrelson was there shooting as an amateur with Missy Gilliland, because this is not her sport, right? She's amazing at pistol, but it's a total different mindset. The long range rifle game is a total different concept than 3-gun or USPSA or anything else. And so it's just a different mindset.
A little team Hoppies connection. Yeah.
But getting to watch that, you know, people kind of cross over and cross-pollinate into a different sport, a different genre of our sport anyway, is just neat to me. So I enjoy it. I love it.
I'm digging it.
I mean, it's the same thing with your AM. You know, he's damn near a GM in USPSA, and it's, you know, precision rifle is exactly the opposite. You know, in USPSA, you want to load your loads to as low as you possibly can while meeting the minimum requirements. You want to pull that trigger as fast as you can. You want to shoot as fast as you can. You know, you'd rather shoot fast, take a makeup shot, but everything's polar opposite when it comes to
the PRS.
When it comes to PRS.
Yeah, interesting. Any live ones get in there? Any comments?
Let's see. We got James Smith, Kevin Kilsner, and Ryan Hay saying yo. Ryan Hay said yo, Ben. Then he said, oh, hi, Greg and Jen. Jeez, I see you guys again.
Long time no see.
Ryan Hay said someone is texting Jen something funny.
Someone did text me something funny. I will not share it online.
That's cool. You can text it to me.
It's none of your business.
Wait, is it not like an everybody funny thing?
Oh, keep reading. Corey said what?
Jen needs a stiffer drink.
Very funny.
Ryan Hay said mad props to Jen for fighting through all of the gear issues this weekend.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yep. And
all right. All good there?
Yep.
All right. Ben, biggest mistake you notice on home stipple jobs. I'm sure you get people coming to you wanting to fix their frame. See if you can, you know, patch that thing up together. So biggest mistakes you notice on home stipple jobs or guys doing this stuff in their garage. Can anybody with a Dremel do this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go in with a plan, be really, really careful, you know, slower is better because you can take it off, but it's kind of, it's, you know, you can put it back on, but it's, you know, it's kind of hard to do that. So yeah, I mean, I think most people could do this if they had a plan, put in the time, you know, and we're just, you know, kind of willing to take the risk. But the flip side is for a lot of people, their time is better spent doing something else, and they want, you know, they want the guarantee of a sure thing done exactly the way they want it. That's why they pay, you know, a professional to do it.
Yeah, I've seen some double undercuts, all right, that have a little bit of flex underneath the trigger guard. Maybe, you you know, how do you know what, obviously you know this very well, but how deep can you go, right? How, like, I'm sure somebody who's new to doing this are like, man, I'm worried about burning through the frame or having some flex there. It seems like there is well, I guess it seems like there is a lot of wiggle room with these polymer frames and at least a Glock. I mean, is that like, if you can stipple it, then take it off and then stipple it again and then try to fix it like that, there's got to be a lot of wiggle room without compromising the actual frame, right?
Yeah.
Or at least one
Yeah,
would think.
they're pretty forgiving, but like I said, a lot of it comes down to common sense. I've seen stuff where you can tell they started from the outside and never thought to actually look on the inside what was behind what they were grinding on, and they go in and all of a sudden daylight's coming through the frame or they hit something metal. So a lot of it comes down to common sense and erring on the side of caution. Because like you can take a whole lot of material off, and then when you go to texture it, then it's too thin and you can burn right through. I mean, I've seen frames where you hold it up to the light and there's pinpricks of light coming through all over the place, and that plastic is pushed from the outside in. You can't even get a magazine in it, because they warp the inside and deform the plastic into the inside of the mag well. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to screw it up, and I've screwed up plenty. I've bought plenty of people new guns out of my own pocket to replace theirs, but those are mistakes. I usually only made them once. I made plenty of mistakes, but usually not the same one twice.
Yeah, there you go, man. Now is a Glock frames, I believe, and a lot of Glock things, like most things right now in the industry, are kind of dried up. Supply and demand has kind of skyrocketed since this COVID-19 era.
Mm-hmm.
So man, just getting a stripped Glock OEM frame is not an easy task right now. Prices
Right.
are probably higher than they ever been on just a stripped Glock frame or any other gun. I mean, if you're finding parts for it, it's just really hard time
Mm-hmm.
for that. Ammunition's through the roof. So you definitely do not want to ruin any frames during these times.
Yeah, Glock has a really great warranty exchange policy. Like if you and we help our clients with this all the time. Like they come to us with a frame that they, did and ruined, or their, quote unquote, their friend did it, or just whatever. So Glock has a great warranty exchange program where no questions asked. You send in your frame and you get a new frame. There's a fee for it, but it's very reasonable. The serial number is different, but at least you get a brand new frame to start fresh with. And we're doing that for clients even now during this. And it slowed down a little bit getting the replacement frames from Glock, but they're still delivering. They're still making them.
All right, so that kind of clears up some of this kind of like not very true rumors that if you stipple a frame, you void the factory warranty. So that is not true. Obviously, there's a little bit of a fee in there. It's not a straight replacement, but that's not true, right?
Well, I'm sure, permanently modifying any component voids the coverage of that particular one. But I know that Glock, you send them a frame that's ground up and chopped up, as long as there's a serial number plate still on there, no questions asked, they'll exchange it for a replacement. And yeah, you got to pay for it. You can't expect them to cover that for free, but we do this for clients, all the time, and Glock has never made an issue of it.
Boom, there we go. Jen, you got anything on your end?
Yeah, so framework packages, the Signature Series, Duty Series, and the Competition Series, slide offerings, Cerakote, finishing options. What all do you have? I mean, there's so much. So what all do you do?
Okay, so we've got 3 lines of custom work. It's there's the Competition Series, which is the very basic, no frills, entry-level package. That's kind of, we came up with that because we had a lot of competition shooters wanting their guns modified, and at the lowest levels of competition, the rules are pretty strict on what you can and can't do for the pistol. So the Competition Series came about because competition shooters wanted a grip package that would fit within the guidelines. So we've got a bunch of clients that are competition shooters. Some of them are like officials and judges, I guess, in the sport. And they kind of helped us go through the rule books of all the different shooting sports and average out what was allowed across the board. There was also, people that like they wanted a better package, like the Duty or the Signature. They just couldn't afford it, but they still wanted the peace of mind of having, work done by a full-time established licensed shop. So the competition series is basically, it's meant to be something that anyone can afford and also be permitted under the rule books. The duty series, that's our mid-level one, and that's actually our most popular now. And it's kind of a loaded package. That one starts for a Glock. That one starts at 400, but it's loaded with features. Like everything that's in it works for everybody. And then from there, you can add features to it to tailor it further for the individual. Whether, like, say they want the, grip aggressively reduced, where we cut it apart and kind of like plastic weld it back together, or some people want it sized up with a razor back. So that's kind of like a mid-level, covers all the bases, great starting point that takes the guesswork out of it. And the signature series, that's basically signature series. I do the signature series, but it's also, that's what I've been doing since the beginning, and it didn't have a name until I came up with the other series. So I just called mine the signature series. But that is, there's some aesthetic differences with that. The layouts on the Glocks are different between the duty and the signatures, and it's just more refined overall in terms of practicality. It's not really any more functional than the duty series. It just gets a lot more refinement and sculpting and elbow grease than the other ones do.
There we go.
But you'll take out the finger grooves that I hate on a Glock.
Yeah. That's actually standard in all of our packages, like for the Glocks. And let me just dial it back, because we work on more than just Glocks. Basically, if it's a polymer frame handgun, we have something for it. Even if it's just a basic texture package. Like the competition series covers every polymer frame pistol, pretty much anything plastic. I mean, we'll do like Surefire shotgun 4 ends under that as well, AR grips. So the competition series is the umbrella that covers every plastic type of grip. The duty series, that covers just a handful of the most popular guns like Glock, Smith & Wesson, CZ, Walther, Sig Sauer, and then the signature series is only Glocks. I'll do other guns if someone like really wants me to come up with a package for them, but most people just go with the duty series because it's more practical and affordable and faster. And we also have, we do trigger jobs for a lot of guns. We do match barrels, install sights. We have slide packages where customer wants say front cocking serrations, RMR cut, that sort of thing. So we can do it from a basic package all the way up to something pretty fully loaded, comprehensive.
Boom, there you go. And your website, BoresightSolutions.com, is that it?
Yes. Yep.
BoresightSolutions.com. You can go over there, check out the signature packages, the duty series, the competition series, all that what we're talking about here. Obviously, you can reach out to social media, Boresight Solutions LLC on Facebook, and I'm sure Instagram and all the other social media platforms if you want more information or see some of the pictures of it. Because me just waving this gun in front of the camera, you're not going to, in front of a webcam, you're not going to really see the detail. And this is a competition series. I went in on a competition series. I wanted, something real base. Obviously I wanted some borders. So this one does have some really, really neat borders to it. I went with different texturing options. Some people like super aggressive. Some people don't want aggressive. Some people want something in between. This is something that you guys call prison sex, right? This is the aggressive one, right? Always got a catchy name.
You said you wanted it rough.
Yeah, so I got prison sex. There we go. I enjoy, well, now it's starting to go off the rails, but I enjoy that texture on the Glock, but there's differences there. I also noticed you're enlarging the magwell area. So I don't know if it's really necessary on a Gen 5, maybe you can widen it even more.
Yeah, on yours is a Gen 5, so it came that way from the factory, but on the Gen 4 and below, we've been doing that for quite a while, flaring the magwell opening out. So basically you get all the benefits of a magwell without having to bolt something onto the bottom of the gun.
All right, so without actually adding an additional magwell, they'll widen the frame and make a magwell out of your existing frame. So all kind of cool things there. Obviously, the double undercuts, Ben. There's a lot of options. Go check out that website. Contact Ben, and I'm sure he will direct you and get you guys set up here. what else we have here? Anything else that came in? We usually lead to Discount Corner here in the midway part of the show, unless we had any live ones. We can kind of move forward with that. What do you got, Greg?
Nothing on the live.
Nothing on the live. All right. So Discount Corners, Jen, you usually start us off with that. We usually skip this part, but we remembered it this time. What do we got for discounts?
Yep, you can get 10% off at carbonarms.us on Carbon Arms shotgun shell caddies, ratchet belts, shotgun tube extensions, all that good stuff with the code TSM10. You can also get 10% off at Under Industries. If you go to their Facebook page and message them and mention the Shooter's Mindset, you can get 10% off. They do awesome jerseys. They're veteran owned. They'll do jerseys, hoodies, arm sleeves,
shorts. I mean,
yeah, pants, masks. Yeah, you can have a mask with, you can look like a NASCAR with your mask if you want, with all your sponsors on it. Whatever you want, he'll basically do. So check them out for your jerseys and just message them and mention the Shooter's Mindset for 10% off.
Boom, Craig, what do you got?
First off, I like to say today at work all day, I wore a really sweet Bushnell mask because at the Bushnell Gap Grind, they gave us some really sweet masks. It's actually a really comfortable mask. Totally besides the point. But the code Mindset10 in all caps, it'll save you 10% off of all Phone Scope products.
Boom, there you go. Some on my end here, Taran Tactical Innovations, TaranTacticalInnovations.com, TSM 10% off all his base pads and parts, Benelli's, Glocks, I don't know. He's got MMPs, all types of stuff, SIGs on there, MPX. That does not work for like their John Wick kind of deals. But their base pad and stuff like that, 10% off. The folks, umtactical.com, they're right here in Lake Worth. Good people. TSM 10, save you 10% off. They're doing a lot of holsters, a lot of AR stuff. That'll save you 10% off with TSM 10 over there. All right. Number 6 here, we got what's the breakdown of your clientele? What percentage of mill, law enforcement, competition shooters, CCWs, the tactical dudes do you have?
About half of our customer base nationwide is law enforcement, and the rest are, we do grips for competition shooters. I don't really keep track of the percentages after that.
Percentages?
Yeah, but I know about half our customer base nationwide is law enforcement, and I think after that, most of them are just average people, concealed carry people looking for an optimized fighting tool. We get a lot of actually I would say the other half of our clientele is a lot of folks who are students that take a lot of tactical training classes, because I do myself. I train a lot of instructors out there, a lot of fairly well-known instructors are friends and clients of ours, and we get so our guns are always out there seen at these training classes, whether it's a student or the instructor or me or whatever. So we do get a lot of business from clients who shoot and train and take tactical training classes.
There we go. I know you trained with Kyle Lamb. Kyle Lamb's been on the show twice now. Your thoughts on training with Kyle? Was that an excellent class?
Yeah. I've trained with Kyle a lot. I've kind of lost track how many classes I've taken with him. Probably 10, 15. Yeah. I was in a couple of his videos a few years back. I went up to when he was up in North Carolina. Flew up there and was in some of his videos. Great guy, great instructor, wealth of real world firsthand experience. That's hard to beat.
Yeah. We had check if you guys want to see more some of our episodes with Kyle Lamb. You can just plug that in the YouTube search bar, and we've got him on the first one really telling some stories on when he was overseas and his time in the military. And you can just kind of, we could have had 2-3 hour shows with this. You just keep, and he would have kept going. And it's almost worth, that's why we try to get him on a second time. We didn't get too many stories in the second one, but the first one was definitely full of some good stories. So check out that on the Shooter's Mindset YouTube channel. That's where you can find that. Uh, uh, any upcoming projects, goals, events, anything you got coming up here?
Um, well, I try to do at least one tactical training class a month. I got I'm one of the sponsors of my buddy Mickey from Carry Trainer. He does a real cool event up in Tennessee a couple times a year. It's like a multi-day event. It's a whole all exclusive all inclusive experience. Pistol, carbine, hand to hand, medical. So I'm one of the sponsors of that. I'm going up to that. I'm like me personally for training. I'm kind of going more. I'm getting into into night vision. So kind of I've done a lot of daylight classes and everything, and now I'm going to be focusing more on going to classes where you're training under nods. Let's see. Yeah,
And I
just
always I always try to justify purchasing a set of nods and D-bolts and all those fancy equipment. I want some, but then I'm like, what am I, other than obviously preparing but it's one thing about owning it, and then there's another thing actually knowing how to use it and
right.
understanding how to use that shit, because anybody can throw on something, and I'm sure there's a there's a learning curve on actually using that type of shit.
Yeah,
So I just haven't justified dropping the dough on that yet.
yeah. With those, I mean, it's like, say you get body armor. That's an investment that you hope you never have to use. But when you have to use it, throw it on. With night vision, if you're not using it, you're not getting any. Like with body armor, if you're not using it, you're still getting a return on your investment. With night vision, if you're not using it, it's just a really, really expensive trinket that, because I've had night vision before, and I just realized, it's like, man, I hardly ever use this. Let me, so I sold off my set, finished a bathroom renovation in my house, and
Yeah.
it just sat there. But now I got back into it, and now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use this stuff. I'm gonna take training, night training classes, and get out there and reacquaint myself with it.
Boom, there you go. I'm sure you can probably look up who's offering those trainings. Maybe you end up in a class with Ben. But even speaking of nods, but just running a plate carrier. If you never ran one before and you actually try to shoulder your rifle, it's totally different, kind of. It feels different. Just training with that type of gear on is different, especially if you're running a bunch of AR pouches up here. Shit's in the way. Shit's starting to snag. You kind of know what you shouldn't have on your rifle, what works, what doesn't work with a plate carrier versus running one without. I just got into the recently, but they didn't want in that class to run plate carriers because it's not what I wear at work. So that class was designed on how I actually come to the gun shop, right? I don't come in with a tuck shirt. I kind of have my shirt like over the top of the holster. So I ran it just like I would ran it. Like I don't sling rifles. We usually have rifles sitting on the back wall. Well, how fast can I get to that rifle if shit does pop off? So that was what that class was kind of about. But I definitely do need to take a class running some plates. And I don't know if I can make it in the South Florida heat. Maybe I need to get in shape. So there we go.
Well, that's the nice thing about, with night vision classes, they're at night, so you don't get sunburn. It's not as hot. So that's one of the other things I'm looking forward to.
There you go. Boom. Greg, do you have any Glocks? I know you're a Glock guy prior in your pistol days and your 3-gun days. I know Jen's got a few. You got any guns customized, stippled frames, anything like that, or you're running them all stock frames?
So I am very much a DIY guy. Like for instance, my truck that I've had for 8 years, I've paid somebody to replace the windshield and to mount balance the tires. That's it. In that time, there's been a complete motor rebuild, total suspension overhaul, total electrical system overhaul, but I do everything myself. And that being said, I'm super OCD and I'm not artistic. So if it's a part that I could stick in a lathe, I'll make it myself. It's a part I could stick in a mill, I'll make it myself. But as far as the art form of freehand stippling, I've thought about doing it numerous times, and I just think that there's absolutely no way that I can do artwork good enough for myself to appreciate it. So all of my guns are actually rocking like some random, really cool looking skateboard grip tape that I got off of eBay.
There you go.
But
Okay.
yes, I have a lot of Glocks. I have most of the Glocks.
Well, let me throw something in there because, like, and this is just kind of minutia, I guess, but I kind of I get get down in the weeds with what we do. It's the texturing, the stippling, which is the most obvious stuff. All that is traction. So texturing, grip tape, it all accomplishes the same thing. I think that the old school deep heat hand embossed texturing like we do and like most shops still do, I think that's the most effective. Because you get like with grip tape, for example, it's basically sandpaper. It's very it's very abrasive and sharp. So it's gives you traction, but that's about it, and it can get uncomfortable. With texturing like stippling, it goes like when you brand the pattern into the plastic, it liquefies the plastic and presses the pattern down into the surface. But what it also does is it displaces plastic outward. So you get the in pattern, you get the reverse pattern out, and it makes it a lot more deep and rugged. And it's effective without needing to be prickly sharp. And it's also depending sorry, I lose my train of thought. Like, oh, I saw a squirrel. Depending on the size of the pattern, it's super effective and it's very durable as well. It'll last it'll last a long time. But like I was saying though, is regardless, the stippling is just traction. That's all it is. But there's so many other things on the Glock that matter as much, if not more, because the Glock has, the ergonomics aren't that great. Like just about everyone gets the knuckle of their middle finger beat up. So a nice proper undercut is going to make a big difference. And I say proper because there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. Because, if you just undercut it, like take that surface and undercut it higher, you get a little higher grip, but you still have a corner of the frame digging into the knuckle of your middle finger. So to do it right, in my opinion, you high cut it and then radius it up like this. So now your middle finger is laying on a polished complementary surface, and it's a lot more comfortable. Another modification is the glove bevel. I came up with that years and years ago, probably 17 plus years ago. And I came up with Miami-Dade cops. They work wearing gloves. They're like, hey, we want more room inside the trigger guard. And so I was like, oh, okay, I can bevel that out for you guys, because you're wearing gloves and everything. I call it the glove bevel. It opens up the trigger guard, but what it also does is it reduces the mechanical frame interference on your trigger finger, because your trigger finger doesn't enter perfectly horizontal where all it touches is the trigger face. It enters from a downward angle and it hits the corner of the frame above the trigger, which forces your finger out and away. And every time you stroke the trigger, you're riding that corner of the frame. So that, and then like going back to the tang area, high cutting it, fluting it forward to make it a little less square and boxy back there. The stuff that's less visible and less obvious than the texturing makes every bit as much of a difference, if not more sometimes. So like, to me, a true custom grip package isn't just stippling. It's all these other features, the undercut, the glove bevel, the tang area work. And then it goes even further with aggressive reductions, cutting it apart, putting it back together, all those things.
Yeah, I'd agree with all that. I'm one of the probably about 7 to 8 people in the world that like the shape of my hand actually fits a Glock. Like I know it's me, Gaston Glock, and probably 5 other people.
Yeah.
The first time I picked up a Glock, it fit. I was like, wow, this is the most comfortable. Like, I went to the gun store when I was 20 years old, getting ready for my 21st birthday, choosing my first handgun. I had 2 that were like my main contenders, but I picked up almost every gun in the store. And the store I went to had a whole lot of guns. And it just kind of melted into my hand. So I'm one of the very few people in the world with this really weird shaped, size, proportioned hand or whatever. It's like I know Jen's a big Glock shooter, and like her Glock, pretty much everything about it has changed. But for me, the shape actually fits me good. The finger grooves line up absolutely perfect with my fingers. And like I said, I'm one of like 7 or 8 people in the world that fit like that.
I actually enjoyed the grooves on. I didn't mind the grooves at all on a 34 Gen 3. I didn't. I do know some of these guys with like these bear claws of hands that when they grip the gun, their hands are so big, or their fingers are so big that they just come over the top of those finger grooves, and there's no way around it. Like they can, like if they're going to grip the gun properly, their hands are right over the top of the grooves. So those grooves do not fit them type of dudes, and they need that shit shaved off. And that's where people like Ben has come in and stuff like that. And obviously, Glock's probably got enough complaints on that because your Gen 5s now do not come with them. So,
yeah. And go. Like if you look at Jen's hands against mine, you know, it kind of looks like this, you know, little hand inside of my big hand. And she's the opposite, where, you know, if she's going to grip it in the finger grooves, her hand's going to be like this.
Yeah.
And that's just not comfortable. And that's where shaving those out, where you can have your natural grip, you know, kind of like this, comes into place a lot.
Boom. Jen, you got how many Glocks you got? What, any of them customized on the frame or?
Yeah, I was going to get into that. And then Cannon wanted to tell all my stuff.
Yeah, shit.
But like, I'll just sit here. Yeah, I mean, I carry a Glock 43. I love my Glock 43 and it's stock right now. My competition gun was a Glock 17 long, and it doesn't even really look like a Glock anymore. I mean, the slide does, but the grip. Not
even. The slide's all done.
Yeah, the slide doesn't even really either. But the grip has been slimmed down, and the finger grooves are gone. At SHOT Show, I tried to talk to them. Look, I had a good idea, and Glock didn't listen to me, but whatever. You know how they have the interchangeable back straps on the grips that you can do the small, medium, or large? Well, I said, why don't they put those on the front and they could have finger grooves or no finger grooves? So when people that have like gorilla hands, like Cannon, and wants the stupid finger grooves, he could put that back strap in and have finger grooves. Or when you get people like me that when the finger grooves are there, I have like 1.5 fingers per finger groove. So it doesn't really work out for me. And then we could do that. But anyway, they didn't listen to me, so whatever. So everybody needs their gun customized to be able to get it how they want it. But the grip is slimmed down, and the finger grooves are gone, and it has the texture to the grip.
Silicone carbide or whatever they call that.
Yeah, the silicone
carbide. Right. Yeah. I don't know. There's not many gun. I thought I saw a gun company doing the front. I'm not sure. There's not very many companies that do it. I know HK does side panels and the back with some of their P30 and VP9 line. But the front, I just don't think.
I thought it was a good idea. They could have it interchangeable.
It is a good idea.
If I had a gun and I was going to sell it to somebody, they could change it out. I mean, it holds in the back.
Yeah. Boom. There you go.
Finger grooves
speaking on that topic, people who really love that beaver tail backstrap, all right, that can, some people might say, oh, well, if you stipple it, it's no longer going to fit, or I can't use that. And that is not the case with Boresight Solutions. And I'm sure there's other people who do this, but I know you can add that and actually have that blended like into the frame where it almost looks like it belongs there, right? Is that something you do also?
Yeah, that's an option in the Signature series where we just permanently attach the beaver tail or the beaver tail backstrap. Or what most people do is they don't want the bottom part of it because it makes the grip really fat down at the bottom, but they want the benefits of the beaver tail. So we'll cut it like in the Signature series, we cut it, blend it seamlessly to the frame, permanently attached. It's part of
it. Looks, yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the gun, and there's no seams. In the Duty series, we'll do something similar, but it's not permanently attached. It can still be removed, and obviously it's not unitized to the frame. So you can unpin it and take it off, but you still get the benefits of the beaver tail without the added bulk of the entire thick backstrap.
Boom, there you go. Also, you can still add magwells to a stipple frame, at least from Boresight Solutions. Some people will go too low on it or kind of like contort the frame to the point where mag wells will no longer work. So you got to be careful and do your research on who you decide to give your business to. But if you want to add that, that's something that Boresight Solutions has cleared and covered, and they sell accessories and mag wells at the shop. If you happen to be in the South Florida area, I'm sure you can call them, set an appointment, stop by. But yeah, that's something you want to look into, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I want all these back straps, but if I stipple the frame, my back straps don't work anymore," and that kind of is like a deal breaker for them. You can still get that done. And I've seen razor wrap backs. I know you haven't talked about that really. We talked about it in the pre-show a little bit, where they add material to this thing. Man, he can make this gun fit your hand no matter what hand you have. So, I mean, if you can probably think it'd probably be done with this polymer.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, there we go. Any more live? Anything come in? One for Ben is Demand we got. Where's that from?
I wrote that myself.
And
Yeah. So Paul said Ben is a master when it comes to building custom Glocks. Worth the time and money it takes to build a masterpiece.
Thanks, Paul.
Masterpiece there. So
And
what?
Ben, I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
So behind you, I see 3 vases that look like they came from like Home Market or World Market or something like that. And then it appears to be a Kevlar helmet.
Oh.
And then something else that probably came from World Market or Marshalls or something like that.
Yeah, there's a ballistic helmet back there. There's some vases that I picked up in my travels. One of them's from Germany. Yeah, this is the back wall of my house. I'm sitting at my dinner table.
I love your decor. It's great. It's a good blend of like masculine and practical.
Thanks. I got a motorcycle in my living room too.
All right, can we bring the camera there? I kind of want to see this. I thought I was the only person that ever have a motorcycle in their living room.
Boom.
That's a bicycle.
No, it's not one.
Oh, there's an animal head. I see an animal head.
There it is.
That is in fact a motorcycle in the living room.
Let's see if I can.
Nice. There we go.
Oh, there's some other decor up there.
Nice.
There you go. See, for those people who are listening on the podcast, you got to check out the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page, where you can tune in every Tuesday at 9 and actually watch the shit live, because people listening can't see this kind of cool shit. So there you go. What else we have here? Lastly, if we don't got anything else covered, kind of the hot topic, breaking news as of today, at least that I know of. ATF sent a cease and assist letter to the folks over at Q. All right. The guys at Q, if you don't know them, they're known for the honey badger, the sugar weasel, the trash pandas, the suppressors, kind of 300 blackout AR pistols with braces on them, yada yada. So and obviously I didn't read this. I know, Greg, we did some brief, like I skimmed it, but what it seems, and guys correct me if I'm wrong if you guys are watching this, but it seems like they're deeming the honey badger that has a brace on it to be a SBR. Okay, so we know the ATF has kind of went back and forth with these braces that you can't shoulder them, now you can, now you can't again, and now here we are with cease and assist letter to Q and people who own the honey badgers, and I'm sure there's plenty of them out there, sugar weasels, the mini fix, which is, I believe, their bolt gun, if I'm not mistaken, are all kind of left like, what the fuck do I do now? So thoughts, Greg or Ben, what are your thoughts on this? Did you see this today?
Yeah, I just saw it myself this evening. This afternoon. I didn't have a chance to look up why they were saying that this pistol was an SBR. I don't know if it was like a length of pull, overall length. I didn't have a chance to look into it, but
Greg, did you get a chance to read this?
I haven't read the whole thing. It's been a really fun second day back at work after an amazing weekend in the matches. But it's just, I guess my opinion is it's absolutely infuriating to have I don't want to say a branch of the government, a regulating body that's in no way, shape, or form defined as a branch of our government, telling us what to do and just constantly change their mind. So today, yes, this is legal. Tomorrow, no, it's not, with no vote, no voter input, anything like that. And it's just like some random dudes or chicks or whoever they may be that are just able to write a letter, and it becomes a letter of the law with no input from the citizens.
Man, that's a good way to put it there. Jen, did you see this? I know you guys come back from this match. You didn't have much time. You were on, didn't get a chance to look at this.
I did not get a chance to look at it at all. I was at work all day today. Yesterday I was just a zombie at work, but today I was actually.
Oh my God, me too. I don't even remember work yesterday. 2 hours of sleep before work was not fun.
There you go. Yeah, so that's the deal. And a lot of people are saying, well, now they're coming for all pistol style braces, your SBA 3s, your SBA 4s, wherever. There's so many companies that make a form of a brace. All right, so everybody thinking now this is in jeopardy. So I put up a post, and on the Shooters Mindset Facebook page, I posted a Truth About Guns article on this with some screen caps in there. I'm sure you want to look up the ATF, actual ATF letter is floating around on the interwebs if you want to look at that. But tons of people own AR pistols with brace mechanism on it. I was having an argument at the shop today that I always kind of felt like it was all going to go away eventually. Like this brace shit is just they're going to come up with something and it's all going to go away. There was arguments that that's not going to happen because remember, what are those made for, right? People with disabilities, right? Maybe you came back from a war and you only got one arm. How do you shoot your AR, or how do you shoot your AR pistol? You strap that thing around your arm and shoot it. That's that I'm sure there's all types of organizations and that have a lot of money that are going to come right back at them. So what are those things really made for? They're made for those type of folks. But I'm just like, on my personal page, I'm like, SBR everything. Fuck it. Let's just SBR it. Form 1 it, baby. Let's do it.
So speaking of that, at SHOT 2020, Magpul kind of debuted 2 different pistol braces. And
I haven't seen those on the market yet.
Not yet. That's what I'm saying. They still say coming soon. I just Googled it.
And you got to get these things approved by the same people who are writing these letters. I mean, you just don't make some shit and put it on a gun. You actually got to get these braces approved through the ATFs. And they said, yes, that's good. You get your permission, whatever involves and that entails, and then you can start putting these on pistols and whatever platforms that are deemed legal and sell it, right? So they got the thumbs up, and now they got the thumbs down.
Yeah, I just hope they're able to get these things to market before they become illegal. Because Magpul, they're kind of known for always having like an amazing product at a super affordable price. Like the CTR stock, the MOE stock, all their pistol grips and everything like that. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people. There's people that are of the I shoot a classy AR mindset and that just kind of shit on Magpul. But they make a great product. I've never had anything Magpul that's been bad. And, they have the...
I've had their Glock mags go shit on me, but for the most part, I agree.
My whole time shooting USPSA, I've had Magpul mags and have never had an issue with one.
There you go.
So
I did not have the same result.
That's a pretty rare thing. Mine have worked great, but like they've released these 2 different stocks at like $50 or $60, or not stocks. What's the word I'm looking for? Pistol braces at $50 or $60. That played with them at SHOT Show. They're super ergonomic, great products. But I just hope they're able to get them out before everything disappears, because I'm probably going to buy like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, that being said, their customer service over at Magpul was outstanding with my defective Glock magazines, and they went ahead and replaced those at a very speedy, like all of a sudden I got like 10 Magpul Glock magazines in the mail, and they were very good about it. Had a problem with a D60, and that was probably user induced, where if you don't load those things right, you can not get the rounds back out without having to take the thing all apart. But they replaced that. Yeah, they replaced that for me. So the D60 was my fault, and they did replace it with no questions asked. So there you go. There's that.
Good on them. It's good when companies do that.
Yeah, agreed. I've been dealing with a lot of good companies like that. I've had some luck with dealing with fantastic customer service, and it's been there. And it's kind of hard to say that because a lot of people, like if you call some companies, they're not even picking up the phone. It's the COVID-19 thing. It's we're too busy. Obviously, gun sales are through the roof. You can't even get through to them, but there's still some companies out there that you can actually still call, get on the phone, get a speedy email reply, and they do take care of you. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of dealing with one particular company that I've been trying to purchase 2 things from for about the past 6 months, and it's just an absolute shit show. But there are, in fact, some companies out there that are still there for you all the time. You know, you may be speaking to your customer service rep sitting on their kitchen table or sitting on their couch, but they're still there for you.
Yeah. There we go. We got any live? If not, we can probably wrap this one up. What do we got?
I was just replying to some comments and questions on there.
Boom. Anything that hasn't been replied
Nothing.
or anything on this Q subject? No, nothing yet. I have some folks saying that they're coming. They're coming for all of them now. Good, Greg?
Yep, we're good.
All right, let's wind this one down here to shout outs. Actually, did we miss one? I think we're good. No, I think we're good. Maybe we'll write this one down to shout outs here. Greg, start us off. What do you got for shout outs?
All right, for shout outs, I have, of course, GSL suppressors. That one day I'm going to be civilized and get rid of this monstrous muzzle brake here on the end of the rifle. Right now it's sitting at Crack Shot Pawn and Firearms in Thompson, Georgia. Shooters and Sharpshooters of Augusta, our local ranges where we go and do all our low development, testing, practice, all sorts of fun stuff. PDC Custom for the most beautiful rifle chassis in the world. They're available in the beautiful lime green and normal human colors. NDZ Performance, they got some really sweet Gucci Glock parts. Super high quality products. Been using them for years and years and years, even before they started making firearm products. It's just a great product at a great price. Phone Scope, Shooter's World Powder. Everyone is still complaining about this. Oh, I can't find Varget. I can't find H4350. Blah 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 blah. I've not had a single day that I couldn't get powder within a day. Hunter's HD Gold is kind of like HD filters for your eyes. I'm blind as a bat, have always been, so it's a great product for me. Bortec for when you got a super nasty rifle that you can't hit anything with. They got some great products to clean your rifle the totally right way.
Boom, there you go. Yeah, and then it's like if you can find powder, you can't find primers. So that's the other. It seems like the primers is like the grail right now, dude. If you're sitting on pallets of primers, you can have a small fortune right there. Or projectiles or whatever. There's always some component that seems to be short in the reloading world when shit like this pops off. Shout outs, Jen. What do you got?
Yep, we'll work for primers.
Mm-hmm.
Shout outs. GSL suppressors for awesome suppressors, like the one that I use sometimes for my 6GT or 6.5 Creedmoor. Prime ammo for awesome ammo. Macmillan stocks for my beautiful gun that I don't have behind me because it's getting worked on. Bortec for cleaning the guns. HD Gold, Shooters of Augusta and Sharpshooters of Augusta. Warren scope mounts and bipods.
Some big time sponsor shooters here we have on the show, man. That's awesome. I like it. Ben, what do you got? Shout outs, man. Anything on your end?
Yeah, just big thanks to our customers that keep us real busy, to the folks that tuned in and watched this. That's about it.
Boom, there you go. Once again, the website's BoresightSolutions.com. You can check that out and all they offer there. If you're in the South Florida area, they're local. They're like right here in Davie, Sunrise area. So you can give them a call and hopefully there's some, you can swing by there. Check out they have a lot of usually you can figure out, do you like the aim point acro? Do you like the SRO? Do you like the RMR? There's usually some guns available there.
Yeah,
try all this.
We got in our storefront. We are by appointment only. We're not open to the public, but just give us a call. We'll schedule a time that is convenient, and usually spend a good hour with the average client that comes in going over stuff. But we got a bunch of demo guns that kind of showcase the scope of what we do. They've all got different optics on them. We got RMRs, aim point, acros. We even got like a T1 on one of them. But we also got a little storefront. We got a web store. We stock a fair amount of products, good quality stuff, sights, match barrels, optics, parts, accessories, magazines, guns. I mean, we stock brand new guns as well. We're an FFL and an SOT. So, you can check out our, like rather than coming into the storefront look, you can see what we stock just by going to our website and going on the web store. We've been lately adding a lot more stuff to it just because we stock a lot of product, but it's not on the web store. So we've been adding it to there so you can get a good idea of what we offer on the custom side by going to the website. We got pretty elaborate builders that'll allow you to just kind of play around and spec out dummy projects that you don't have to order, but it'll familiarize you with what's included in the packages, what options are available, the costs, and you can kind of build your gun from the frame up that way.
Boom, there we go. Some shout outs on my end here. If you're watching on the Facebooks, right below the video there, you hit a yellow subscribe button. Every Tuesday, 9 Eastern, we do a new episode of The Shooter's Mindset featuring another great guest or company. The Shooter's Mindset on Facebook page. Give us a like on Facebook. Give us a like over there. And if you're streaming us on any of the podcast formats, give us a follow or whatever thing you hit to subscribe on the podcast format. If you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com is a good way to do that. Rise Armament, man, fantastic friends of mine. AR triggers there have probably six ARs decked out with their triggers and parts. Love them folks over there. And just shout out to Jen and Greg, man, for keeping this show really going. All right. If it wasn't for Jen, Jen's been doing this for a long time with me, but if it wasn't for Jen and Greg believing in this shit, this would have been a long gone. Okay. Because I've been burnt out on this show for quite a while, and they keep trucking it along and dragging me back into it. So they're doing an excellent job. I appreciate them a lot. And that'll do it for the 212 episode of 312 of the Shooter's Mindset Show. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We'll see you on the next one.